We have just over 2 months until we're going to be playing Dragon Quest I and II HD-2D Remake. I want to know your thoughts straight off the bat in the comment section down below. Are you going to be picking this up? Because we've had quite a bit of news over the past couple of weeks on what more we can expect. Combining that with my preview, we've got some good stuff to talk about today. So with that all being said, what is up guys? Jen here. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Going to have you covered with timestamps down below, so if you want to skip to a certain section of the video, feel free to do so. All I ask is you support the channel and hit the like button, and if you want to stick around for some Dragon Quest content, you're already in the right place. Just hit that subscribe button. So we got a little bit of news a couple of weeks ago in the form of a live stream from Zoma himself alongside Baramos in a live stream on the Japanese Square Enix account, and essentially what they did is they played through the beginning of Dragon Quest II. So we're going to go and recap that. It's a little bit of old news, but I didn't get a chance to cover it. But combining with the other news that we've got, I think we've got the full package of some information here. But before we dive in any further, let me tell you about our partners at Instant Gaming. Instant Gaming is a website where you can get Steam games and more at incredible prices. Whether it's a Dragon Quest, a turn-based RPG, or one of the latest releases, Instant Gaming has it all. All you got to do is use my link down below. Not only that, we currently have a monthly giveaway where you can choose anything off the website. All you got to do is click the link down below, click the orange participate button, and then you're in for a chance to win. Not only will you be supporting the channel, but you'll be saving yourself a lot of money. So thanks to Instant Gaming and happy shopping. So essentially they play through the Dragon Quest II intro, and as I confirmed in my preview, you get to select either Dragon Quest I or II in the menu, play it in any order you want. I think the natural order to play it is probably going to be 1 and 2, because when you boot up 2, you get a recap of what happened at the end of Dragon Quest I, so you don't want to spoil yourself with that. And then we go into the Descendants of Erdrick, because that's how Dragon Quest II takes place. We are playing through the Descendants. We've got the Princess of Moonbrook, Prince of Maidenhall, our main character, and the Prince of Cannock, alongside the Princess of Cannock. So it kind of sets the scene. We get a bit more of a story. We get to see the descendants being born. It focuses heavily on the Princess of Moonbrook first, and it sets the scene for Dragon Quest II, and then it flips over to us, the main character, the hero, Prince of Maidenhall, and we are on our adventure. We first need to go to Cannock, and we go over to Cannock, and before we go over to Cannock, we get a bit more story, and we're going to see a lot of this in Dragon Quest II and I. More cutscenes, more lore about Erdrick. We're going to have references thrown back to Dragon Quest III, back to Dragon Quest I, and just getting to know these characters a little bit more, because this is going to be more of a definitive party experience when it comes to Dragon Quest, because Dragon Quest III we played as a hero and we had a team of our own choosing. Dragon Quest I we're playing as just the solo hero, and in Dragon Quest II we are going to be playing as a hero, but we're going to be having 3 other party members with us that are really going to give us a bit more of a party feel like we got from later Dragon Quest games like 8 and 11. So setting up the scene, giving these characters backstory, a bit of personality is going to be key in Dragon Quest II, and it's going to be a treat to go through. Anyway, we make our way to Cannock, and not much in the way of gameplay. We do a couple of battles, we get to see the world map. It's going to be a lot what we remember from Dragon Quest III. From what I've played, there's a few new locations that we're going to be visiting, more sparklies, more hidden locations, mini medals, and everything else in between. So there's a lot to look forward to as we are traversing between place to place. But we make it to Cannock. The Prince of Cannock is not there, and we need to go find him. And the Princess of Cannock wants to accompany us, and this is our first taster. She doesn't join the party there and then, so we have full control over her, but she is a guest member temporarily until we find the prince, and then we get to pick up the Princess of Cannock later in the story. Once we've got the Princess of Moonbrook and the Prince of Cannock, Princess of Cannock will fill that last slot, and we'll have the Descendants of Erdrick taking the fight to the max. Essentially, that live stream with Zoma on the official Square Enix Japan account was a taster of what to expect from Dragon Quest II, but we know that we get the Princess of Cannock as a guest party member. We'll talk about her abilities and what she's bringing to the table in just a second, but there is also one thing in this gameplay video that stands out, and I did speak about it back in my preview, and that was the way of getting abilities for your hero and your companions through the use of scrolls. There is one little screen that is here, it's official, it's out there now, that we will be gathering scrolls, whether it's through just playing the game, finding them, or doing side quests of where we can learn abilities that we would not learn naturally through the progression of Dragon Quest. So it's nice to see a little bit of confirmation on that. But again, I did mention it in the preview, and it got me a little bit excited. That's about it for that live stream. Flash forward, IGN had an interview with the director, Masasaki Ayasaka, in some questions on what we can expect. Now, I could see that the host here was a bit of a Dragon Quest fan. They were trying to get some juicy information and tidbits, and they did indeed get a couple of new bits of information for us to get us excited. They first talked about just remaking these games and the length. I think this is something that we're interested in. I think there's a reason why Dragon Quest 1 and 2 are packaged together, and it has been confirmed. Like, Dragon Quest 1 is a short game, Dragon Quest 2 is a pretty short game, but they confirmed that they are extensively longer, and both games combined is significantly longer than what we got in Dragon Quest III. So we're getting quite a beefy experience. Very interested to see if there is anything that carries on from 1 to 2, or if there's anything that carries on from 3 to 1 or 3 to 2. It's still up in the air, but I'm interested to see if there is anything that carries on there and then. But the fact that we're getting a beefy experience here is quite exciting. They also touched on Endgame content, and they kept a lot of things close to the chest, but they said you can expect it, and it's going to be, again, quite the treat. I am in my own mind here thinking that we will have the ability to fly on Ramia in Dragon Quest 2, at least. Maybe Dragon Quest 1, I don't know. But Dragon Quest 1, there's not much traversal options, but I think 2, just with the expanded world and just the bigger story, and the fact that we've seen some of the orbs in some cutscenes as well, I think that maybe Ramia is going to be like a little bit of a bonus towards the end game. But it's nice to see that we're going to get an end game like we did with Dragon Quest III, because that was quite the challenge. It was so exhilarating, so I'm excited to dive into that kind of stuff again. They then spoke about Dragon Quest I in particular, about how, hey, the Dragon Quest I was one-on-one battles, you've added multiple enemies, can we expect additional party members? Though they did not mention it directly, they did say that they've made changes. Of course, we've got different enemy variants that we got from Dragon Quest III, and ones that are from Dragon Quest II as well, and that they've rebalanced everything to work in that setting. And then there's the aforementioned scrolls of learning new abilities and spells, apart from the ones that you learn naturally by leveling up. There's a lot of things here to make the solo journey quite worth it and quite the challenge, though again, I still think that the Princess of Outgard will be joining us in an endgame journey to a certain extent. I have hope, or maybe we might have a couple of monster friends. Maybe it's time to let that ship sail. I feel like there's something that they're still holding close to their chest. They then went to talk about Dragon Quest II and the Princess of Cannock. Could have mentioned this when we're talking about the live stream, because that live stream did showcase some of the abilities, what we can expect from the Princess of Cannock. And there was a trailer as well that Japan also released during the Nintendo Direct that did focus more on the abilities of all of the heroes in Dragon Quest II. So we know that the hero that we play as is more of a warrior type. We have the Princess of Moonbrook that was more of a mage type. And then we had the Prince of Cannock that was a squishy boy, but was supposed to be a bit of a mishmash of both. He's been refined. I've played as him and he feels really good to play as, but we were wondering what the role of the Princess of Cannock was going to fit, and it's been confirmed that she's going to be pulling up from a lot more of the vocations from Dragon Quest III that we had, like the Gadabout, the Thief, Dancer, a few status effects, and a few just to kind of shake up the party and bring that party full circle. So we got a bit of everything and a bit of experimentation. So it's going to be very interesting boss battles once we have the 4 party members. So I'm looking forward to how that will all work. They then asked about something that I've known, but I was not allowed to talk about, and got the ultimate confirmation of it, and that is Tombola returning in Dragon Quest II. Though I didn't find and play this when I played my preview, I knew it was in there, and it has been confirmed by the director that it's more extensive. There's a few more secrets involved with the Tombola that they don't want to reveal just yet, which again just adds to the excitement. The key thing that they kept saying during this interview is what they like to do with Dragon Quest fans is when they release a remake or a re-release of a game, they like to add some new things in to keep the fans on their toes and not stray away from the original too much, and they did that perfectly with Dragon Quest III. They're going to do it here with Dragon Quest I and II, and I think we're going to have quite the package here. The interview with IGN did end with them trying to see what they might be working on next by mentioning Dragon Quest IV, V, Final Fantasy VI, but they didn't budge at all. I do think that maybe 4, 5, 6 is a definite possibility. We know it's going to do so damn well in Japan. It's the most requested game in Famitsu weekly every time I see the updates on that. And we all know that Square Enix was very impressed with its performance and its expectations. It didn't get the typical line that Square Enix gives of like, it didn't quite meet our expectations. They really thought it did well and they were happy with it. So I would assume that Dragon Quest I and II will do similar, and it might kind of guide them in the direction of bringing 4, 5, and 6 in a HD-2D style. But is that something you want? Do you want them to dive in some 3D remakes maybe? We had the rumored 7, but that's another video for another day. I just wanted to keep up with what we're getting with Dragon Quest I and II HD-2D remake. Let me know down below what platform you're going to be picking it up on. Are you excited for it? Let me know everything. I appreciate your time, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.